Welcome to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. In today's episode, we got Will Russell. Will is the founder and CEO of Russell Marketing. Will, before I tell more about your company and everything around, please introduce yourself and give us a little bit of a background. How do you got so far today? I mean, you're now the executive director and founder of Russell Marketing. You are an author, Forbes Business Council. Please tell us everything.
Sure. Well, firstly, thanks for having me, Omar. It's always nice to be on shows like this, and I appreciate the opportunity. In terms of where I started, so as you might be able to tell from my accent, I grew up in the United Kingdom, but live in the US now. And I moved to the US in 2009. And I think that the kind of general consensus of the US being a very business-oriented, entrepreneurship-oriented place, there's a lot of truth to that. And so I ended up finding that path here and ended up launching my own. I did a few little things on the side, but really in 2016 was when I made that dive and took that jump into the world of running my own business. As with many entrepreneurs, you try things, some things fail, and then you end up on a path where things seem to be moving nicely, and you find that traction, you find that kind of market fit. And so we found that in product launches. Over my time in marketing, I've launched many things just in different ways. I worked in a media company launching websites. I worked in a nonprofit organization launching events. And it just, over that period of time, I found what became a system, a launch system, and we're able to now use that and implement those strategies on behalf of all of our clients when they're launching new products. So that's where we are today. We're now been around, as we say, 5-6 years now, doing well and in a good position. Like we were talking about a moment before, the last couple of years for e-commerce, for launches have been tough. They've been a tricky space. A lot of people have left the space in that time, but I feel very confident that those that are able to persevere, those that find their way through it, are going to be in a really strong position coming out of any of these challenges. And at least what we're seeing in early 2023, I feel like we might be at a turning point. We'll see. It's a bit early to say that, but 2023 so far has been very promising for us. So I hope that we are out of the woods and on a good trajectory.
Yes, I would really say the same. And there was I had just a guest, which is exactly told me the same as you, who's gonna go through the next 18 months. Will be definitely there for a while, because it's gonna get not tough, but it's a time right now where really everything will be separated, So as well, you have seen in the financial world, the aggregators, there was the whole buying of Amazon businesses boomed in 2021 and slowed down in 2022, and most probably will go back up again in 2024 or 2023. We see the crypto cycle the same, the financial cycle, everything is down right now. So I think it's just a healthy recovery what we're looking at, or from COVID, what we have seen. The boom in e-commerce, the boom in crypto, everything was up, everything was brilliant. Yeah. But I think now it's it just goes, because it was all not fake, but it was not natural, it was not normal, So we are now seeing the aftermath of that. And I think, like you said, 2023 should be good, and then 2024 should be an upswing again. And for all markets, and I'm really looking forward to it. Because definitely e-commerce will not disappear or something,
No, I feel like so COVID came in at the end of this cycle of growth. So let's say 2010, 2011, platforms like Facebook and Twitter really start exploding, and social advertising comes into play, and Shopify really starts getting popular, and all of a sudden crowdfunding gets popular. All of a sudden, launching a business becomes relatively easy compared to what it was before. And so we saw this decade of growth culminating in COVID, where everyone was locked in for a long period of time and doing online shopping. So e-commerce just grew. And as you say, I think now we're at this point with for all these different reasons, the whole industry is just, and many industries are taking that step back. Okay, hold up, rebalance. Things are going to change, things are going to evolve. There's a lot more competition, and so we're going to enter a new period of e-commerce, whatever that might look like. And some folks drop off, some folks stick with it. I saw a quote somewhere a while back saying that any businesses that go out of business during a recession shouldn't have been in business in the first place.
Exactly.
And that hit me pretty hard.
Good.
So it makes me determined to, get through it and provide value,
Yes, I completely agree with that, and the value you are providing with the marketing. I mean, now how far? I mean, you have been in the business for quite a while. You have been speaking about website launches, product launches, and e-commerce. I suppose Shopify, right?
We do Shopify launches, yes, and then also we do a lot of pre-production launches.
Okay.
So pre-orders, like crowdfunding type things, Shopify, generating product or generating revenue prior to actual production. So some of that's Shopify, some of that's on other platforms.
Okay. What, for example, for Shopify, what would be your number one hack to say, okay, how you can launch it? I know there's a whole thing behind it. It's the same for Amazon listings. If you optimize the listing, it can be 100%, but there needs to be the PPC in place, the pictures need to be in place, the A+ content needs to be in place. Yeah. Everything needs to be in place. So what would be your hack?
Hack for Shopify. Hack makes it sound like it's easy, and it's not easy.
Yes, I know.
So let's say difficult hack, or I think 2023 strategy that's super important and allows you to distinguish yourself from the hundreds and thousands of other people trying to do the same thing is transparency and personal connection with customers, in my opinion. And so being a company that launches lots and lots of new products from new brands, one of the biggest challenges is credibility, because if they're a brand new brand, they've never sold anything before, why would anyone trust them? And I think 5-6 years ago, a really new, cool product was attractive just enough as a product for people to say, yes, I want that. However, over the last few years, things have changed, competition, supply chains, issues with delivery, blah, blah, blah. And now people aren't just saying, oh yeah, this is an amazing product, but they're looking more carefully at who is behind this. Can I trust them? Yeah. Who are the people that are launching this? And so one of the biggest differences that we're seeing, one of the biggest strategies we're seeing make a difference in these launches is when the founders are really front and center, talking to their customers, showing their face, being very transparent about what's happening, because that builds a really good level of trust. And so I would say for me, launching Shopify, launching anything, one of the biggest strategies that we're driving home to our clients is be transparent, be fully transparent, upfront, honest, completely open, accountable to these potential customers. And when the time comes to launch, to sell, your life's going to be a lot easier.
Definitely. I think this is already really, really good. I call it a hack because it's definitely, definitely something which, I mean, it's logic, when you hear it.
But it sounds like common sense, isn't it? But
exactly. But it's not so easy. I know what you mean. So in the US, for example, because what we have seen past the years, because you talk about transparency and confidence in the brand, and as well talking with the customers. When we look at I tell you about the European Union, there is a tendency, for example, within the past years for Germany, what we have seen in Germany and France specifically, that they like products which are from the European Union or even better from their own country. So it's like they are not avoiding nobody can avoid products from China, but they are trying to get to innovative products which are out of the region, which have a brand, which have a real like purpose, which have a transparency and which have like a community behind them. That means like people can really identify themselves with that brand and really be into it. And I'm not sure about the US, but from what I've seen, that people like as well now products made in the US, and there's Mexico. Have you seen any tendency of that, or is there?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big thing. A lot of the launches that we do, a frequently asked question is this made in the USA? Where is this made?
Interesting.
And if it's made in China, you'll get a certain amount of people who just won't give it a chance. Now, from a entrepreneur's side of things, for those entrepreneurs listening to this, it's really, really hard to get a product made in the US in a lot of industries at a rate which gives you margins to actually be a sustainable business. So if you're listening to this and thinking, oh boy, I've got to get my product created in my country, ideally, yes, but in some cases, there are some factories now, or sorry, there are some industries like the bedding industry, certain technology, where there are no longer factories in the US even doing that. And so there's no choice but to go to India, go to China. So it's a really tough one for the consumer for the entrepreneur, because the customers, they want local, they want something they can build that relationship with, they want their own country, they want to support their own economy. But it's not always actually physically possible to provide the products from that country. And a lot of customers don't realize that the complexity of these supply chains.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So when we talk about marketing in general, yesterday I've been speaking with somebody as well, very interesting, for PPC, Google, Facebook, all of these different ways to drive traffic to listings, be it Shopify or Amazon or anything. Do you see any? I mean, what people usually do is they just do an ads, for example, on Google, on Facebook, and direct the link to Shopify, or run some ads on Instagram or anything like that. Have you seen anything which could top that? Maybe a tip what could be better, or what is a new approach maybe there is now, because we come in 2023, all the AI stuff, everything what we see is definitely bringing some changes away from the traditional post a link and then go there and what do you have for us?
I would say one of the biggest changes from a PPC standpoint in the last 3 or 4 years, in 2018, 2017, you could run an Instagram ad, and most people, this is why when I said a few minutes ago, it was kind of easy, it was kind of simple to suddenly start a business and launch a product, because there was very little competition in the advertising space like that for these social ad platforms, even for Google. And so putting out an ad, just one ad, one campaign, one link to a product page, people saw success doing that. And they used, you use the term return on ad spend, like Facebook return on ad spend. How much are you getting for every dollar you spend? Now, I feel like 2022, 2023, the iOS stuff aside, with the privacy issues, obviously that caused a lot of problems. But I just think in general, the idea of a single channel attribution is no longer, it's an old way of looking at things. So if you're looking at, okay, let's run a Google ad or let's run a Facebook ad, and you're an entrepreneur really trying to assess, okay, well, how many dollars did this particular ad return to me? And should I just triple my investment in that particular platform? If you look at it like that, just focusing on one platform and one kind of path from investment to sale, then I think you're really missing a much bigger picture of what's happening in that sales journey and that decision-making process for the buyer. So I think the biggest advice I would give to anyone working in PPC now or exploring PPC is, don't just look at that particular channel on its own. Don't run a Google ad and only look at Google ad data. Don't run a Facebook ad and only look at Facebook ad data. Look more broadly. How is that traffic behaving? What are the different touch points they're having? maybe it's a Facebook ad and a Google ad that ends up converting someone. You know, it's not as isolated and single channel driven as it used to be. So I think the biggest advice I would give to anyone dabbling in that now is really think holistically. Don't just look at Facebook ads and lean only on Facebook ads. Really think more holistically and more broadly about the role each of these marketing strategies, these marketing channels play in the overall decision-making process of the customer.
I mean, that is definitely, it's a big field, and it's very hard to, I think you trimmed it very well down, but it's so large, the advertising and everything around. And right now there are so good tools as well, which could help as well to channel all that stuff. But it's such a competitive space right now that it's getting harder and harder, and you need really some serious investment if you really want to do something. Same as on Amazon. If you just play around with small numbers, the only thing that was going to happen is they're going to eat your, going to eat your budget, and that's it.
Right.
And I get my guess. I'm not an expert in PPC or outside traffic for Google. I hire myself a team for that. But my guess is that it's the same. If you play small.
It is. I think also, if you were, because of the competition, the cost of running those advertising campaigns is quite expensive. And so even to get this traffic to your website is costing a decent chunk of money compared to what it used to cost.
Yeah. And
so if you as a company, if you're launching a Shopify website, there's no way, very, 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 very rarely is a brand new website going to convert the customer in the exact manner you want them to right away. Because you're going to build a website like with anything in life. You build it, there's going to be improvements, fine-tuning, tweaks that need to be made. So when we're launching e-commerce on Shopify, for example, we generally tell the client, okay, so we're going to be putting this ad investment in, but as you point out, Omar, it's not going to come back right away, right? Over time, you're going to start seeing improvements, and maybe it'll be 4 weeks or 6 weeks before you get that return on investment or you get that scale that you were really hoping for. It's not a case of plugging in a Facebook ad and then the next day you're going to start getting sales on your website. Rarely is that going to happen. And then I would also say, because of the cost of these ads, there's only so much emphasis we would recommend most clients place on them. When you start, having 100% of your marketing budget go to ads isn't a bad idea, because that's a really quick way of getting traffic, getting sales, getting learnings coming in. But 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line, you don't want to be spending 100% on ads because it's expensive. And so, what we're doing hand in hand with those early ad pushes is building up those other channels and making sure that repeat customer, that's a thing, making sure that people are increasing their order values so that you're lifting up revenue from non-paid sources, which will overall help you reduce that cost that ads incur for you as a business. Because you can't, 5 years ago, yes, you could spend 100% of your budget on Facebook ads for years at a time. Now you just can't do that. There has to be much more of a balance. And so if you're going to invest, it's got to be a strong investment up front with the idea that the percentage of sales coming from your paid PPC efforts will be a smaller percentage of your overall revenue over time. As your brand grows, your credibility grows, your organic traffic grows, your referrals grow, and so on and so forth.
No, that's sounds good as well. So you are launching on Shopify. You don't do a lot on Amazon, or as well?
We do some Amazon. We do, I would say most of the launches we do is pre-order based. So we're going to be leaning on platforms like Indiegogo or Kickstarter.
Okay.
Another portion is Shopify. Also pre-order. We get a lot of people who aren't yet in production, but have product they want to start selling in order to fund manufacturing on Shopify. And then Amazon, of course, you do need a product. So the clients that we're working with who have product ready to go, have manufacturing supply chains ready to go, we do look to Amazon. But as I said before, we tend to come in a little bit earlier in the journey, at which point Amazon isn't on the table for us yet, because we don't have a physical product yet.
Yeah, it's already made, and you have to you have to have already everything to start selling on Amazon, for example.
Right. And Amazon also, I mean, similar to lots of e-commerce. I mean, boy, it's a competitive playing field now,
Oh
and
yes,
it's
it is. It is.
hard
That's
playing
why.
field.
For US at the moment, personally, I don't recommend to sell in the US if you don't have a really strong budget and you have really, that's what you need to have. I would recommend to sell in Europe, but my number one at the moment is my recommendation is the UAE and Saudi
Really?
Arabia. Yeah.
You're getting, so why is that? You're just getting much less competition?
Yes, there is only at the moment in the UAE, there's only 35,000 people selling, 35,000 sellers
How
on
does
the
that
UAE
compare
market.
to the US, for
That
example?
that's like US, I think it's almost 1.2 million or something like that,
Okay, so
something like that. Yeah.
substantially. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting tip. There, you're the one giving the tips here. See, there we go. That's a hack.
No, but most of the people they know that the UAE is definitely something where you need to look at. It's because
Interesting, yeah.
within the next years, Amazon is building, for example, the most electronically advanced warehouse in the world at the end of 2023 will be finished
And that's in the UAE.
in Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah. A lot of our clients, I mean, most clients that we're working with, because the US market's the biggest, that's generally
Yeah.
where they want to focus
I
on.
know. I would not go there anymore, because it's way too competitive. Maybe if with a small product or something, and that you can do it, yes. But I will not recommend to really if somebody have no experience, definitely not. Definitely
And
not.
then from a shipping standpoint, with Amazon and Amazon fulfillment potentially, how difficult is it for the entrepreneur to be shipping to the UAE versus the US? I don't know the logistics behind that.
It's super easy. I mean, you go DDP as well. You pay everything, and it goes over the. I
All
mean,
done for
it's
you.
it's a lot. It's not less time because with the boat you have as well about 30 days,
Okay.
about 30 to 45 days the shipping. So the
Okay.
time frame is the same, and to enter it is all it's as well. It's for me it's super fast and is it's different from the US, and I believe that you have a lot more opportunities over there than in the US, because obviously your competitors are less, and the money is there at the moment. So it's.
And would you say the same for e-commerce outside of Amazon? You think the potential is big just for regular e-commerce, or no?
I would say Amazon at the moment, there is Noon as well, but it's not as good as Amazon now. So
Okay.
Amazon has taken over the region literally. So for
Taking over the
me as
world.
well, you can literally order, and then in 5 hours later the product is at your house.
Yeah, it's
That's how
ridiculous.
fast they are. It's amazing. It's not for all products, but there are certain
No.
products which is really fast. So I think it's definitely a market in generally to look at, not only for Amazon. The development is so fast. Both
Yeah.
of these markets, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, is you coming from as well from a financial background, as I understood, is definitely Saudi Arabia, and the UAE is definitely on your map as well, I would say.
Yeah, and as I pointed out, most clients, we also have a lot of Asian clients looking to enter the US market. So a lot of what we do is generally USA, UK, Europe to some extent, although again, kind of back to what I said at the start, just the whole US vibe of going and achieving and being an entrepreneur and having success,
Yes, definitely.
compared to the EU, which is less about the entrepreneur and more about protecting the consumer, which there's no necessarily right or wrong here, but that does make the life of a marketer more difficult, focusing on the EU. So the US provides that, I guess, more freedom for marketers. But I'm definitely going to check out more about some of the UAE, because that seems like a really interesting uh, geographic location that we really haven't spent much focus on yet. So it sounds appealing.
I mean, I won't say that now you can make lots of cash. What I would say is that now you should prepare.
Okay.
This is the preparation. If you can, you should prepare right now for it, because in the next years is definitely being bigger. It's like, I would say like Amazon 2010, you know, something like that. Amazon US 2010, you know.
That sounds like a very appealing time frame, because Amazon 2010 was a great time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
For
yeah, it
marketers,
was
yeah.
really good, you know. um, I have a few more questions for you. I could see that you are as well an author.
Yes, yes. Just in November last year, I published my first book with Nicholas Brearley, publisher. It's called Launching Five: How to Take Your Idea from Light Bulb Moment to Profitable Business in
Okay.
Record Time. And essentially, I talked a minute ago about the launch system, and in my company, we have a 5-step launch system that we implement for our clients. But to your point, it costs money now. It does to run ads, to build marketing effort. It costs money, and not everyone has access to that money. So we have a lot of people coming to us who need help, want help, but honestly don't have the budget to work with us. And so I wanted to distill that information and put it into a low cost offer for people who wanted to do it themselves, or wanted to take that information and implement it without the support of a costly agency or a costly partner. We've tried a few different ways of doing that over the years, a few different ways of having kind of lower cost, more entry level services, and it just hasn't worked out. So I really felt a book was a good way to go about that, and give anyone the opportunity to just basically, it's a recipe book, you take it and you work through the recipes, each step of the 5-step system, and hopefully come out the other end with a validated and high potential kind of business.
Okay. So it's one book for now. I mean, it's already amazing, you know?
Yeah, it's one book for now. I tell you what, it was a heck of a process. So I'm probably gonna take a little bit of a break. I definitely think I'll write another one. It's kind of it's a real kind of, you get to a real conclusion. With a lot of things in life, it's just ongoing. But with something like a book, you go through such a long process and you get it done, and there's this step and this step and this step and this step, and then at the
I
end
need
of
to
it,
close it at some point.
yeah, you close it out, it's done, and it's a really good feeling. It's a real, like, check that box. So I would recommend anyone thinking about doing it to do it, but saying to do it and actually doing it are two very different things, because it is very time consuming and very frustrating at times, but I found it very rewarding. And I think, especially in the spaces that we work in, D2C or digital commerce or launches or Amazon, there are a lot of people out there doing similar things. And so anything we can do to just give ourselves that little bit more credibility or authority, start a podcast, write a book, it really helps long term. And so I'm not really the kind of person that would feel comfortable starting a podcast myself. I'm a little bit more of an introvert. And so I felt a book was the way to go, and that's the path I went.
Wow, definitely. That's definitely great. I wanted always to write a book, you know, but don't know where to start. So is this actually your proudest accomplishment?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, from a professional standpoint, possibly, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it was something that for many years I've thought about doing, and thought, yes, that would be something good to do. When I was a kid, I used to write quite a bit. And so to actually kind of bring that to fruition, yeah, it is a big accomplishment. It's something that I'm particularly proud of. Yeah.
Definitely, that's sounds really good. I mean, I think I will have a look at the book. You know, I would definitely read it. I read all the books that my guests wrote, and so far I really enjoyed the books that I read. And um, like I said, it gives me motivation to do the same as well.
Yeah, yeah. Please, I welcome you to purchase one, or give me a shout. You send me an email, and I can send a few your way for your readers and yourself.
You got it on Amazon?
Your listeners. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah, it's on there
Great,
on
great.
Amazon.
I'm gonna put the book cover on top, and put as well the link in the description.
Thank you.
Great, amazing. So a few more questions for you. This is rather funny one. Would you rather spend 1 year at the North Pole or 2 years in the Sahara Desert?
2 years in the Sahara Desert, because I hate cold weather.
Me too. The same.
That's why I live in
Definitely.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty warm out there. Yeah.
Oh, today is actually pretty chilly. We got a bit of a freeze, but generally, yes, very warm. too warm on some occasions, probably like it is where you are. But
Yeah.
I would take warm any day over too
Oh,
cold.
definitely. Oh, definitely. Me as well. That's definitely. What is your superpower?
I would say I had a kid in June last year, and so he's
Wow.
7, 8 months
Congrats.
now. Thank you. And I think one of the biggest challenges I'm having as a father now is control of my time, because I think my superpower was my ability. I'm really efficient with my time, and so over the years, just with my businesses and whatnot, I think I've been able to do a lot because when I focus and I'm very good at getting things done in a very effective way, because I'm very good at scheduling. I'm very good at planning things out. So that would be my superpower. However, I think by having a kid, I've lost that superpower because now any plans I make go out the window. So it's really
Yeah,
hard for
I
me
know.
to take control of that time. But I would say probably one of my best traits, my superpowers would be I get a lot done in a short period of time, and that's really helped me, obviously grow my business and do bits and pieces.
No, definitely. That's very good. Um, do you have any message for the world?
For the world, oof, that's a big one. I think I have a good message for the people that to listen to your podcast in particular. And I was listening to a few episodes earlier today again, and we talk about you had a guest talking about testing on Amazon and testing product before buying, doing a full production run. And I think what I would oftentimes when I'm asked questions like that on podcasts, given I work for a launch agency, my advice is please validate a product or a business idea before going to market, because the number of people we see come to us having spent tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on manufacturing product, on building brands, without having actually proven there's a market for this particular product yet. And that's a huge waste of money, waste of time, waste of energy, waste of stress, waste of tears, whatever it will be. And so my biggest takeaway in anything I've learned over the last 6-7 years is, and biggest piece of advice is, please just make sure you validated a product, you've confirmed there's market fit, you feel confident that this is the path to go before you spend years and tens of thousands of dollars pursuing a business idea.
Thank you so much for that advice. Great. Where can anybody get in contact with you who wants to speak with you or ask questions, or maybe is interested in your services?
Sure. So our website is russellmarketing.co.
We'll put it here.
Put it in that'd be great. The book, if you want to check out the book, the website, it's on Amazon. It's also, you can find it on the website Launching5Book with the number 5, launching5book.com. If you want to contact me personally, I always welcome outreach. I have obviously email, will@russellmarketing.co. You can also find me on Twitter. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Will Russell. Any of those channels, I'll be delighted to hear from you and happy to respond to any questions.
Amazing. I will put everything in the description as well into the video. Yeah, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks it was great having you on the podcast.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, Omar. I look forward to doing it again one day.
Let's do that again. Maybe down the line when we see that your marketing agency, the prediction goes up and everything goes through the roof. I really wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. You too.